Good morning, welcome to JDB's Morning Cap. Today is Monday, August 24th, 2026. As we're down just one more week until the month of September. So fall's coming up next month. I know time is flying big time as we're approaching the fourth quarter of 2026. So you might as well get yourself ready to go. And this will always help if you could get your cause in effect. But I'm happy that that's done with it. All right, so we're about to get this show started, if that's okay with you. You here? So we got a handful of stuff to get to right now. I'm going to start with the Cleveland Browns. The Browns squared off against the Buffalo Bills on August 22nd, which is last Saturday. The Browns played the Buffalo Bills in Huntington Bank Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. And who got the start for the Cleveland Browns? Shedeur Sanders played the first half. Sanders went 9 for 11, 74 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 sack, 1 pick. Well, the 1 pick wasn't on Shedeur Sanders. DeShaun Watson had a rough second half, 5 for 12, 36 yards, no touchdowns. He didn't give up a sack. He did throw an interception. Dylan Gabriel only played 1 series, 0 for 1. So DeShaun Watson, he struggled. He struggled so far in that game. DeShaun Watson, his first game in the preseason, he was really good. 11 for 15 for 126 yards. He only gave up 1 sack against Chicago Bears, despite they lost 34-10 on August 15th. And then the next week, he did not have a good second half against the Bills. The Cleveland Browns, overall in that game, 2 total turnovers, and they committed 9 penalties, mostly some of those penalties on offense. But now my question is, should DeShaun Watson be released? As of this moment, not yet. DeShaun Watson has not been released as of this moment. In fact, the Browns have named DeShaun Watson a Week 1 starter, according to the Browns head coach Todd Monken. It was breaking news just over an hour ago. As the Browns wraps up the preseason on Thursday, August 27th, against the New England Patriots in Cleveland. So Browns will start the season the first 2 weeks on the road. Browns will have to play Jacksonville and Tampa Bay, two tough teams. They're gonna play two consecutive Florida teams on the road to start the year. Browns are gonna play Jacksonville in Jacksonville, and Browns will be in Tampa Bay to play the Buccaneers. So, which means Jaguars will be in Florida for the next couple of weeks before the Browns will get their home opener on September 27th against the Carolina Panthers, and then they'll play the Pittsburgh Steelers in a short week on Thursday night in Cleveland in week 4. I mean, do I blame Todd Monken? Do I blame Todd Monken to that they started? Should I blame Todd Monken for starting DeShaun Watson a week 1? Should I blame Todd Monken for this? Well, yes, I have to blame Todd Monken. I know this is his first season, understandable, but I have to blame Todd Monken for deciding to put Watson a week 1 starter. It's supposed to be a starting week 1 by committee. You gotta wait till the end of the preseason. But DeShaun Watson would be a week 1 starter, barring changes. So if DeShaun Watson either it goes down with the injury or facing possible discipline or suspension, then starting week 1 is up for grabs. We could see Shadir Sanders, most likely Shadir Sanders, Dylan Gabriel. He hasn't done much in the preseason. Or Tylen Green, he hasn't done much in the preseason. So, starting DeShaun Watson week 1 is a huge risk. Surprisingly a huge risk, because that doesn't mean Cleveland Browns are going to go 0-17. They're going to win some games. They're probably going to. Last year, Browns won 5 games, and they played 3 different starting quarterbacks. It started off with Joe Flacco, then Dylan Gabriel, and then Shadir Sanders the rest of the season. Come on, bro. Yeah, that just can't happen. You start 3 quarterbacks in 1 season. That's not going to fly. Like it or not, you're not going to win that many games when you play different starting quarterbacks. Remember about 2 other years ago, they had several starting quarterbacks for the Browns. The Browns made the playoffs with a 11-6 record, and they still play different starting quarterbacks. So it started off DeShaun Watson, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Joe Flacco, rest of the season until the wild card round. That's how the Browns got bounced out of the wild card round against the Houston Texans in 2023-24 postseason. The reason why I didn't trust the Browns this much because of the different quarterbacks, starters. But the defense was great that year. Myles Garrett was great. The Browns defense was best in the NFL that season, and they got to the playoffs. And Kevin Stefanski won his 2nd Coach of the Year that year. Since then, things have been changed. Things have been seriously changed. And because of that, those quarterback plays are going to be somewhat challenging. There's no way you can handle that. No way. And this is an issue right now. You take your own responsibility, and you have to take one of them. And I don't have a problem with that. You just disappoint yourself. If you disappoint yourself, you're not gonna win. You're not gonna win that many games. You don't even know that. All right. So, what else I want to talk about other than the Browns? I'll try to keep that segment going. Oh, by the way, the Cleveland Browns did waive Daquan Wright. Daquan Wright has returned to football college, to LSU. So, is this a surprise move or this is a great move? To me, I don't think this is a surprise move. I think this is a great move for the, let's say, Daquan Wright wasn't drafted. He signed, but he got released and now heads to college. Hopefully he plays at a high level in college and hopefully gets a higher round for the next, I won't say next year, but probably. The good news is they did not draft Daquan Wright. They did not draft him. They undrafted him and then he signed. So the question is, he could be drafted either next year or the year after. So Daquan Wright becomes the first player in the history to play in the NFL and then back to college. This is insane stuff. This is 100% insane stuff. And speaking of college football, we're going to talk about that next. I'm going to talk about that next. Week 0 is in this week. I'm going to talk about, I will revisit the top 25. And I'm going to preview, I'm not going to preview all at once. So I'll preview college football twice this week. So my first one, I'm going to revisit the top 25 preseason rankings. And then today, and then also my big conference winners predictions. I'll do both of those today. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to do the Heisman Trophy predictions. Who's going to win and who's going to be candidate for that. And then who my 12-team college football playoff. Here, we may see some surprises who will be in the playoffs. So, I'll talk all about this in about a couple of minutes. All right, last night, I saw the Chicago Sky Indiana Fever game last night, and things got heated in Chicago. Oh, Enes Freedom and where you go? Enes Freedom, Enes Kenner is called Enes Freedom got into Natasha Cloud in an altercation. Enes Freedom was on courtside, and Natasha Cloud got into Freedom and shouting in long distance. And Enes Freedom was kicked out of the arena. Enes Freedom recently declaring the WNBA draft about around a month ago. Oh dear. Chicago Sky. The Indiana Fever ended up winning over Chicago Sky 113-90. Chicago Sky is having a disappointing season, 15-23 record. Indiana Fever already reached a postseason berth in the WNBA. They're 25-14 on the season. Caitlin Clark led the way with 37 points. And Kelsey Mitchell had 30. She had 30 points as well. So here's my question about Enes Freedom. Do I blame Enes Freedom for declaring the WNBA draft? Yeah. I blame Enes Freedom declaring the WNBA draft. That is absolutely embarrassing. This is embarrassing for the league, and this is embarrassing for the sport and for the world as well. And the reason why I would not trust Enes Freedom going to the WNBA, because I don't think he's the right. I don't say he's not the right fit. I don't think women don't trust Enes Freedom this much, and I don't trust him that. I don't trust him like that. I'm gonna keep it PG for this. So here's my question. Should I give him problems? Should I confront him? To me, I shouldn't. But I do like the fact that Enes Freedom has shown his own support. So that's understandable. It truly is. All right, let's talk college football. Week 0 starts this week. University of North Carolina will take on TCU in Dublin, Ireland. And then San Jose State plays USC in USC. And then NC State plays Virginia in Charleston. Those are notable Week 0 games this week. So I'll preview North Carolina TCU game this Wednesday, and I'll check these two how their seasons went from last year. So I'll talk to these two teams on Wednesday, and who am I picking on Saturday in their opening week of college football. Week 0 starts this week. All right, let's revisit the preseason rankings. Say the preseason rankings as of right now. Number 1 is Ohio State. Number 2 is Oregon. Number 3, Georgia. Number 4, Notre Dame. Number 5 is Texas. Number 6, Indiana. Number 7, Miami Hurricanes. Number 8, Texas A&M. Number 9, Ole Miss. Number 10, Oklahoma. Number 11, LSU. Number 12, Texas Tech. Number 13, Alabama. Number 14, BYU. Number 15, USC. University stands for University of Southern California. Number 16, Michigan. Number 17, Washington Huskies. Number 18, Penn State. Number 19, SMU. 20 is Tennessee. Number 21 is Utah. 22 is Iowa. Number 23 is Houston. Number 24 is Louisville. And number 25 is Missouri. That's the top 25 preseason rankings. And that's what this conference is all about, or the top 25 is all about. It's about expectations versus reality. So, what are the biggest headlines for college football this season? The Pac-12, the new Pac-12 is back. After 2 years without other teams in Pac-12. This is a new Pac-12 of two teams already been to Pac-12 have experience in Pac-12. Washington State and Oregon State are the two teams that have longer years than other teams. Here are the new Pac-12 teams, several of those. Colorado State, Boise State, San Diego State, Fresno State, Texas State, and Utah State. So there are 6 teams are in new conference. And 5 of those 6 teams came from the Mountain West. The Texas State came from the Sun Belt Conference. They did it for 13 seasons. So there's the new one, and then there's the Mountain West teams. There's a few teams who joined a new conference. North Dakota State and Northern Illinois joined the Mountain West. North Dakota State came from FCS, and now they're FBS officially. Northern Illinois came from the Mid-American Conference. So that's what this is all about. There's the big headlines. Pac-12 is officially back. Can a Pac-12 team make the college football playoff? They still can. Does it mean the Power 5 is back? No. It's still Power 4. The Power 4 right now is Big 10, Big 12, SEC, and ACC. The previous one was a Power 5. It was Pac-12, Big 12, ACC, SEC, and Big 10. So Now I'm going to pick. Now I got to pick the conference. So I'm going to start with the Big 12. The Big 12, Big 12 has Arizona State, Kansas State, Texas Tech, Utah, Houston, Cincinnati, UCF, BYU, West Virginia, Baylor, Arizona, TCU, Colorado, Kansas, Iowa State, and Oklahoma State. Texas Tech is defending Big 12 champions from last season. So it's been a tumultuous season for Texas Tech. Brendan Sorsby, accusations. So here's my question. Who should I pick the Big 12? My Big 12 winner is going to be BYU. I think BYU is going to get stronger and they're going to get better. I pick BYU as my Big 12 winner because I think the defense is going to be great and they got a terrific running game. They're going to run the football and play great defense. And this is the crucial part of the game. There's nothing else you wanted to burn with. My next Power 4 school, ACC. We got NC State, Florida State, Louisville, Boston College, Miami Hurricanes, Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, SMU, Syracuse, University of North Carolina, Stanford, Virginia, Clemson, Pittsburgh, Duke, and California. Duke is defending ACC champions. So who do you think who should win the ACC champions this year? All right. I'm going to say Miami Hurricanes is going to win the ACC title. But they lost a lot of starters from last season. But I think Miami Hurricanes is still dangerous to win the ACC because of their coach, Mario Cristobal. And I think the quarterback right now they're going to play. They're going to play a tremendous role. So Darian Monsa is the Miami Hurricanes quarterback. But they got some guys like Malachi Tony, Cam Vaughn, Mark Fletcher, the running back. They got some talent. They got a bunch of talent on offense. But despite they lost a bunch of starters on defense, including the Buccaneers drafting Reuben Bain Jr., there are a bunch of talent on offense, but there's some questions and criticism about the defense, how the defense is going to perform. The defense was better last year to get to the national championship game. Last year, they were one play short against Indiana in front of their home stadium. So now can Miami raise it here this year? Expectations for the Hurricanes are high this year. They're favored to win the ACC. And we're not sure who are the biggest contender for the ACC, who the bigger threat to Miami. Is it going to be Syracuse, SMU? SMU has improved. Virginia has improved. Virginia could be the bigger threat. Last year they had a solid year. I think Virginia has making a big step. They're taking a big step this season. So I think Virginia could be the X factor for the ACC. They almost won the title. They lost to Duke. So this is going to be an interesting season for the ACC. Clemson can still be in the picture, even they lost a bunch of guys. Clemson is not ranked this year, but they still got the best coach in Clemson program history, Dabo Swinney. I'm not going to blame Dabo Swinney that the Clemson Tigers are unranked to begin the season. I'm not blaming him at all. Next one is the SEC. The SEC. And Georgia is defending SEC champions. So here's my question. Let's start with Alabama, Oklahoma, Georgia, Arkansas, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Missouri, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, Texas, Florida, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Auburn, and LSU. So Georgia is defending SEC champions. I think SEC is going to be a dominant conference this year. So teams who were in the playoffs representing the conference from last year: Alabama, Oklahoma, Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas A&M were all in the CFP last year. And so what were their results? Ole Miss, start off with Ole Miss. I'm gonna start that in order, actually. Texas A&M lost to Miami in the first round. Oklahoma lost to Alabama in the first round. Alabama, Rose Bowl exit against Indiana. Georgia, Sugar Bowl exit against Ole Miss. And then Ole Miss, a Fiesta Bowl exit against Miami Hurricanes, a heartbreaker. So who do you think should win the conference of the SEC this year? Right now, my favorite to win is Texas. Texas didn't get to the college football playoff last year. I think Texas is probably favored to win the SEC. If they can beat Georgia, if they can get past Alabama, if they can pass these two teams, several SEC teams, they got to get to the college football playoffs. They got to win a national championship. That's their goal. And Arch Manning needs to win a Heisman Trophy. That's our specific goals this season. Texas Longhorns, they got to be a national championship type team. But the biggest question, discipline. Can they be disciplined enough to win a national championship? Second kit, is Arch Manning the best quarterback in a conference? So this is going to be crucial for Texas. When you look at their schedule for the Texas Longhorns this season, Texas will start the season against a tough opponent on September 12th. Actually, Texas will start the season against Texas State in Austin on September 5th. That should be an easy game. And then they had a tough game against Ohio State in Austin. And then they got to go to Tennessee. Their first true road game is September 26th against Tennessee Volunteers. And they got to play Oklahoma in a Red River Showdown on October 10th. And then they got to play Florida on the 17th, Ole Miss on the 24th. They got to go to They got to go to LSU on November 14th, and they got to play Texas A&M on November 27th. The schedule looks mixed bag at times. So if they can pass some of these tests, they can get into the college football playoff. The good news is Texas is not facing Georgia this year. So they got a pretty good schedule. But the games I have to keep your most eye on: Ohio State game, the LSU game, the Texas A&M game, the Tennessee game, and the Oklahoma game. Those are several games I have to keep your eye on to make sure they can put themselves in the college football playoff. So I think they could beat Tennessee. Ohio State, I'm not so sure they could beat Ohio State. Ohio State is they're a more experienced football team. Ohio State is a more hungrier team than Texas. The game is in Austin on September 12th. This is the game I really want to see right now, is Ohio State and Texas game. This is going to be incredible. This could be an incredible one to watch. Texas versus Ohio State in Austin, Texas. You got Arch Manning versus Jillian Sayin. Come on, bro. You got to be kidding me. So my SEC prediction winner is Texas Longhorns. And finally is the Big Ten. I knew I was going to talk about the Big Ten. Michigan State, Illinois, UCLA, Purdue, Oregon, Minnesota, Washington Huskies, Wisconsin, Northwestern, USC, Stanford, University of Southern California, Nebraska, Ohio State, Iowa, Rutgers, Michigan, Maryland, Penn State, and Indiana. Indiana defending not just Big Ten champions, defending national champions. So Indiana lasted to beat Ohio State. So how many Big Ten teams got into a college football playoff from last season? Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, and I believe there's only three teams they got into a college football playoff from last year. Only 3 teams. Oregon Ducks, a Peach Bowl exit against Indiana. Ohio State, a Cotton Bowl exit against Miami Hurricanes. And then Indiana won a national championship against Miami Hurricanes. So the Big Ten is going to be one of the most dominant conferences in college football. Michigan, Indiana, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Iowa, Oregon, Illinois could be part of it. USC could be part of it as well. Who do you think should win the national champ? Who's going to win the Big Ten champion? It's going to be Ohio State. They're favored to win it all. They're favored to win the conference. And Jillian Sayin is going to be one of the Heisman Trophy front runners this year. Ohio State is going to be the best team in college football. And their expectations is 100% high, to say the least. There's nothing you can blame on that. And you have the best of your ability to make it all happen. So who could be the biggest threat? Indiana, again? Oregon? Oregon's got a very good quarterback room. You got Dante Moore and Dylan Raiola. And then you got Indiana, J.J. Hoover is the new quarterback now. Fernando Mendoza drafted to the Raiders. And this is a dominant conference. This is one of the most dominant conferences in the college football. SEC has got to be the most dominant conference. to be exempt, to see how this is gonna go. All right, I'm gonna talk some college football on Wednesday, so I'm gonna save it for who's gonna be in the conference championship game, who's gonna be in the BCS, who's gonna be in the 12-team playoff, and who's gonna be the Heisman Trophy candidates. I'll talk all of that on Wednesday. When we come back on JDB's Morning Cap, it has been a long process. Which NFL teams do I trust the most? I'm going to pick some teams. And then it will be pennant race. Baseball is heating up as September is approaching. We'll get ready for October baseball as we're stepping away. Welcome back to JDB's Morning Cap. We're going to talk about teams who I trust. Talk top NFL teams who I trust the most. Seattle Seahawks are defending Super Bowl champions. So I'm going to pick. So I might pick up to 8 teams. I'm going to pick 8 teams who I trust the most. I'm going to rank from 8 to 1. So I'm going to pick top 8 best. Who do I trust them the most in the NFL? All right. So number 8, I'm gonna pick the AFC West. I'm gonna pick the New England Patriots. Denver Broncos, AFC West. I'm gonna pick the Denver Broncos, number 8. Well, the Denver Broncos last year, 14-3, tied for the number 1 seed in the AFC. They took the tiebreaker from the Patriots based on a common record last year. The Broncos, their big wins were last year. They had wins against it does include postseason. Broncos had wins against Broncos had wins against the Chargers in Week 18. New York Giants, a big comeback in Week 7. And then Cowboys in Week 8 against them. They beat the. They had wins. They beat the Chiefs twice, including Week 11 against Mahomes. Probably the best win of the year, by far. They beat the Bills in the AFC divisional round in a wild one before. It was Nixon in that last snap of the season before he got injured and he sat out for the AFC Championship game before the Broncos got bounced out of the championship round of the AFC against the New England Patriots. I think the Broncos will be even better the Broncos were even better last year than the previous years. Even though the Broncos have made the playoffs in each of their last couple of years, Bo Nix is developing his game. Hopefully, Bo Nix will be one of the MVP frontrunners in years to come. I think the future is bright in favor of Bo Nix. Number 7, we'll go to the AFC East, is New England Patriots defending AFC champions. The Patriots also won 14 games last year, earning the number 2 seed in the AFC. They beat top defenses in the NFL. They beat the Chargers in the first round. They beat the Texans in the divisional round. They beat the Broncos in the championship round of the AFC before they lost to one of the best defenses in the NFL, the Seattle Seahawks, in the Super Bowl. So, yes, they had a tough schedule to start the season, but the Patriots, I still slightly trust the Patriots. If they can start winning some games against tough teams, I think they can be tough out. So let's see how the Patriots can respond, including Drake May. Number 6, I'm gonna go with the NFC North. I'm gonna go with the Green Bay Packers. Honestly, This is a make or break season for the Green Bay Packers. I know Micah Parsons is going to be out to start the season. He's getting better. He's trying to fight off his ACL torn from last year. But this is a golden opportunity for the Packers to make this deeper playoff run. We have not seen that for quite some time in the Matt LaFleur era, even with Aaron Rodgers or Jordan Love. So Jordan Love he's been 3 full seasons as a starter with the Green Bay Packers. And his longest run for Jordan Love is divisional round so far. That's it. Jordan Love in the playoffs in his career, he's 1-3 as a starter in the playoffs. The only win was his Jordan Love's playoff debut was against the Cowboys in the NFC Walker game, and when 7-seeded Packers upset the 2-seeded Cowboys in Dallas. Dallas had not lost a home game in the regular season, and they end up losing out in the Cowboys losing at home in the postseason in a heartbreaking fashion, 48-34 in Dallas. So that's my number 6. Number 5. Fifth team I trust him the most. I'm going to go with the NFC West, Seattle Seahawks. Defending Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. Well, I think Seattle is the team I trust him, but they lost some guys from last year, but that's understandable. You still got Sam Darnold as your quarterback, but will the Seahawks be the same as last year? Probably not. But honestly, the Seahawks are still dangerous to come out of that here. Number 4, I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow, the Bengals have not made the playoffs in each of their last 3 years. The Bengals had a losing record for the first time since Zach Taylor's second season as Bengals head coach. And this is first time since Joe Burrow was drafted the number 1 pick of the 2020 draft. So that was the last time that the Bengals had a losing record before they had a losing record the previous year. I think Bengals is my number 4 team to trust in the most. There's no excuses for Cincinnati. They got an easy schedule. They just need to play. Their offense is going to be fine, but can the defense step up? That's the question. The Bengals doesn't have to be top 5 defense. They got to be better in certain categories. So if they can take the ball away, that's fine. But they still going to give up a lot of yards. Points allowed is going to be down for Cincinnati, hopefully. Hopefully points allowed is going to be down this year. Still more yards allowed, but I think they're going to be better overall. I think they're going to be better if they can get enough to the playoffs, and hopefully they can win this division. Number 3, this is a close call. Who I trust him the most? It's the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, Kansas City Chiefs. I cannot disrespect Patrick Mahomes. I just can't. Patrick Mahomes is a 2-time league MVP, 3-time Super Bowl MVP, He's won 3 Super Bowls. He beat the 49ers twice. He beat the Eagles in 2022-23 Super Bowl. I mean, he's one of the greatest GOATs in our generation. I mean, this is what happened when I trust these guys, and hopefully this is going to happen here. Number 2, I'm going to go to the Los Angeles Rams. Rams should have been number 1. I like Rams number 2. I think Matthew Stafford, he threw 46 touchdowns versus 8 picks last year. He won the MVP. I mean, no disrespect. I picked the Rams number 2 because the question is, when they're going to sign Aaron Donald with the Los Angeles Rams. Aaron Donald's starting to get a little bit frustrated right now. Despite the fact the expectations for the Rams are high, this is a pretty good opportunity to win as many games as possible. The Rams went 12-5 last year. They came up short in the NFC Championship game against the rivalry foe, the Seattle Seahawks. And I cannot abandon everything else. They will not see the Seahawks until Christmas night. The game will be in Seattle, and they'll play the Rams. The Seahawks will play the Rams in LA to end the regular season. So could be for the NFC West Division title. I think I could actually take care of business right here. And my number one, the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills. I trust the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen is my guy. The Bills are going to win the Super Bowl. I predict the Bills are going to win this Super Bowl. Because of that, things will never going to change. Joe Brady is your new Bills head coach. Josh Allen, they got more weapons than they had the last couple of years. They got DJ Moore. The Bills got DJ Moore. The Bills kept Khalil Shakir. We have two good tight ends. You got Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. Hopefully, Bills can bounce back Keon Coleman this year. Hopefully, he's going to have a bounce-back season after a rough year last year. So, and you got the running back, James Cook. He could go off this year. So, the Bills' offense is going to be pretty darn good. I think defense will be okay this year. I won't say they're going to be great, but they're going to be really good. They will be decent this year. We'll see how that is going to go here in 2026. All right, let's move on to Major League Baseball as the pennant race baseball is heating up. Let's take a look at the final scores from August 23rd. Here, we had a bunch of crazy finishes yesterday. The Philadelphia Phillies beat the Cardinals 6-4. The Phillies scored 6 runs in the 9th inning, including Kyle Schwarber with a walk-off 2-run home run. Yankees and the Phillies earned a sweep the Cardinals, and they take the season series 4-2. Yankees beat the Blue Jays in New York 8-3. They took 2 out of 3 from Toronto. Meanwhile, the Rays beats the Orioles 3-1, and they salvaged the final game of this 3-game set. The Marlins swept the Nationals in Miami 6-2. The Royals defeated the Tigers 11-7, and they get the sweep against Detroit. The Athletics beats the Astros. A's came back to defeat the Astros again 7-6, and the A's took 2 out of 3 from the Astros. The White Sox beat the Mets on Tristan Peters' walk-off solo home run 2-1 in Chicago. The Rangers defeats the Angels 5-3. The Rangers took 2 out of 3 from the Angels. The Guardians sweep the Rockies 7-2 in Denver. The Red Sox swept the Giants 5-4 in Boston. Padres swept the Twins in San Diego 8-1 in San Diego. Cubs dominates the Mariners 19-2. Dodgers swept the Pirates 4-0 in Los Angeles. The Diamondbacks beat the Reds 5-3. Reds took 2 out of 3 from Arizona. And finally, the Braves beat the Brewers 4-2 in Williamsport, Pennsylvania game. And the Brewers took 2 out of 3 from the Braves. All right, let's take a look at the pennant race baseball here. Let's take a look at the American League playoff picture. Number 1 seed of the American League is the Tampa Bay Rays with a 77-53 record. Second seed is the Chicago White Sox, 68-62. The third seed is the Houston Astros, 65-66. Here are the wild card pictures. The New York Yankees are 74-56. Yankees have the first wild card. Second wild card is the Red Sox, 71-59. And the final wild card spot right now is the Texas Rangers, 65-66. The Guardians are 65-66 as well. The tiebreaker in the final wild card spot goes to Texas because of a head-to-head. Meanwhile, the tiebreaker goes to Houston. Houston has a tiebreaker over Texas based on head-to-head record against them. So now, Texas, the Rangers and Astros does not play each other. Had the playoffs started today, they will face each other in the American League Wild Card Series. And it will be also a rematch from last 2023 American League Championship Series when Rangers took them to the Astros in 7 games. And they won in 7 games. So it could happen. It could happen. Should be an exciting one here to watch. And that's what I have it. The Yankees, Red Sox, Wild Card Series. The game will be in New York City. So the American League East is probably the best division in the American League so far. 3 teams are in the playoff picture. The Red Sox are just 6 back from the Rays' first place. The Yankees are 3 games better back than the Rays from first place in their division. So right now, there's no team running away this division just yet. Yankees had them favored to win the American League East in the preseason. During the season, Rays have them favored to win the division. The Rays are a bit of a slide as of late. The Red Sox, after a little bit of tough stretch, the Red Sox have won 5 of their last 6 games. The Red Sox finished a 5-1 homestand, unless the homestand continued. The Red Sox will visit the Marlins, and it's not going to be an easy series for the Red Sox. So it's not going to be an easy road trip for the Red Sox. They got to go to Miami from Monday through Wednesday, and then they're going to play the Red Sox 4 times in 3 days, including a doubleheader on Saturday in New York City. So it started off, Yankees swept the Red Sox in Boston in April. And then in June, Yankees and Red Sox were split in New York and won. The Red Sox swept the Yankees in Boston in late June. Red Sox leads the season series 5-4 with 4 left. These 2 teams will play 4 left to play from August 28th through the 30th. Which is 4 games in 3 days, including 2. They'll play 1 game on the 28th, 2 games on the 29th, and then 1 game on the 30th, which is 4 games in 3 days. Because the game got rained out on June 6th, I believe. The make-it game was on June 6th. So Red Sox are going to play the makeup game from June 6th. The game was supposed to play. It got rained out. Here the National League playoff picture as of this moment. Number 1 is the Milwaukee Brewers, 81-50. Number 2 is the Dodgers, 80-51. Number 3 is the Braves, 76-55. Here are the wild cards. First wild card is the Chicago Cubs with 75-56 record. Second wild card is the Philadelphia Phillies, 73-58. The third wild card is the San Diego Padres, 71-60. Here are in the hunts: D-backs, Cardinals, Pirates, Reds, Nationals, Marlins. They're all in the hunt for the National League playoffs. So, which National League team who has a better chance to get in as the final spot of the National League wildcard? Honestly, it's got to be the San Diego Padres. The San Diego Padres are I really trust right now. Fernando Tatis has hit 17 home runs over his last 50 games. Has hit none through the first roughly at the minimum of 45 games. The Padres' offense has gotten better. Padres have the best offense in baseball, one of the best offenses in baseball in the second half. It's not just not just that. It's not just that. They just got healthy. They got healthy at the right time. The bullpen's been the best in baseball. Starting rotation hasn't been great this year. But if they can get better in the playoffs, if they want to make this deep playoff run, Craig Stammen is the manager of the San Diego Padres. I think I trust the Padres, barring a late season collapse in the final month of the season. They just got to be stuck with it because of that. So, right now, let's take a look at the potential format. Have playoffs started today. For the American League side, the Rays and White Sox will get their byes for the American League Divisional Series. It would be 6-seeded Texas Rangers take on the 3-seeded Houston Astros. Houston Astros will be your AL West champion. And then you got the Boston Red Sox, the number 5 seed, will take on the number 4 seed New York Yankees. The game will be at the Bronx for the second year in a row. Rangers will play in Houston for the best of 3 wildcard series of the American League, same as the Red Sox and Yankees in New York. For the National League wildcard series format, right now the Brewers and Dodgers will have their byes for the National League Division Series. The National League wildcard series has the 6-seeded San Diego Padres take on the potential National League East champion, the Atlanta Braves. And then you got the Philadelphia Phillies visiting the Chicago Cubs. The best of 3 National League wildcard series. The winner between the Cubs and the Phillies NLWCS will have to face the 1-seeded Brewers. The winner between the Braves and the Padres series, between the 6 vs. 3 match, will have to face the 2-seeded the Los Angeles Dodgers. Same as the American League. The winner between the Astros and the Rangers matchup for the 6 vs. 3 matchup will have to face the 2-seeded Chicago White Sox. The winner between the Red Sox and the Yankees matchup, 5 vs. 4 matchup, will have to face the top-seeded Tampa Bay Rays. This is how that format goes. This has been that way in the full season since 2022. And nobody wants to tell you that. And if that's the case, that will be that. Which outside chance by each league will likely get into the playoffs? I'm going to start for the American League. I'm going to go to Cleveland Guardians. I think Guardians will make a huge run in September. Well, can they still win division? I think they can. Remember last year, the Guardians came all the way back. I think they were like 15-plus games back in the American League Central Division. And guess who won the division? The Cleveland Guardians. Because due to Detroit Tigers' late season slide. Despite Tigers got into the postseason as a 6th seed in the American League, the Guardians still lost this wildcard series to the Tigers in 3 games. but that wouldn't change that much. On the National League side, the team I actually trusted the most is, I'm going to say the Arizona Diamondbacks. I think Diamondbacks have a better outside chance to get into the playoffs. But they got to get past Philadelphia. They got to play Philadelphia next week in Arizona. So if they can win the series against Philadelphia, then the confidence is going to Arizona's way. You can't get it wrong about that. There's nothing else you can really change a whole lot. There's nothing else you can really say that at this point on. All right, let's wrap it up here on JDB's Morning Cap. What's coming up on JDB's Morning Cap? I will do the talk show tomorrow again. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk more NFL. I'm relying heavy on the NFL as I'm going to talk about I'm going to talk about the NFC. I'm going to talk about the Washington Commanders. What's the biggest concern for the Washington Commanders coming into this season? And I'm also going to talk about a lot more NFL stuff. Like, I'm going to talk about the Cowboys tomorrow. I'm going to talk more on Cowboys. And then I'm going to talk who were major surprises in the preseason and major disappointments in the preseason. This week is preseason week 3. So there's a lot of stuff to get to. And that will be that. Here, so we're gonna keep a close eye on everything else. We'll see how this is gonna play out as this season goes along. All right, that's gonna do it on JDB's Morning Cap. We'll catch you tomorrow, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.